Welcome to the Rum Revival. My name is Arminder, and today I'm highlighting rums and rum-based liqueurs that I think are perfect for making cocktails during the fall season. Now I have a whole separate video of rums that I like sipping neat this time of the year, but sometimes you're in the mood for a cocktail that really showcases rich fall flavors. So you're gonna need some rums and rum-based liqueurs that are infused with notes like cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg to provide you with the perfect flavor components for your fall cocktails. So I'll be highlighting a couple of bottles I use for mixing, and for each one, I'll briefly mention a cocktail I enjoy making with it and include its recipe in the description. Let's get on with the list. First up, I wanna talk about spiced rums. Here's the reality of spiced rums. Lots of people love them and lots of people hate them. But I think there's no need to be so binary. There's a time and place for everything. And for me, since we're obviously in the season where everything is pumpkin spiced or holiday spiced, now's the time of the year where I'll dabble with some spiced rums, just a little bit. And most of the spiced rums out there aren't that good. They either taste artificial or too sweet, but there are some well-made ones, and my favorite would be Maggie's Farm Spiced Rum. So this is a rum that's made with vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and freshly grated orange zest. And why I like this one specifically is that it's much more drier than pretty much every other spiced rum that I've ever had, and the spices just taste so fresh. Also, there's a skeleton on the label, and nothing says the fall like a skeleton for Halloween. Now, I don't really go out of my way to sip this neat, but when it comes to the fall, I do like to use it in cocktails here and there, maybe like a spiced daiquiri or a spiced rum old fashioned. But what I tend to make with this is a simple and straightforward dark and stormy. Pretty straightforward, tall glass, full of ice, half ounce of lime juice, 2 ounces of the spiced rum, and then top it off with 4 to 5 ounces of ginger beer, and that's it. Oh yeah, it's bright, a little tart, has this really nice ginger kick at the same time, and what I love is on the finish, you're getting this mix of really nice dry spices from the rum. The spices from the rum mix so well with the ginger here to create this really interesting and zippy experience on the palate. Now this is especially good on those fall California days where the weather's like almost 80 degrees outside like it is right now. Now when it comes to fall flavors, people are always going on and on about pumpkin spice, but I think another classic fall flavor that often gets overlooked is rum raisin. So my next pick is Ahrumatic Rum Raisin. Now this is a rum arrangé, which is a tradition throughout much of the French-speaking portions of the Caribbean and places like Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean. And basically that's where rum is macerated with fruits and botanicals and a touch of cane syrup. Now how different that is from like a liqueur, I don't really know. This particular bottling is a blend of 3 different rums. There's an unaged rum agricole from Damazu Distillery from Guadeloupe here. There's an unaged Jamaican pot still rum, and lastly a 12-month-old Jamaican pot still rum as well. Now in terms of the raisins that are inside this bottle, well, there are actually 3 different kinds. There's a Corinth raisin from Greece, and then 2 varieties of Sultana, one from South Africa and the other from Chile. Now you can drink this straight as a sipper, though you'll want it on some ice or maybe chilled in the refrigerator first. Sipping it straight, I get these really nice notes of milk chocolate or honey-covered raisins up front, and then more of a traditional Jamaican funk and overripe fruit notes towards the back. Now besides sipping it neat, you can totally drizzle this over some ice cream and it's heavenly. Now lately I've been enjoying it in a rum old fashioned. Since this already has some cane sugar in it, there's no need to add any more sweetener in the rum old fashioned. Just 2 dashes of bitters, 2 ounces of the rum, stir it over some ice, and voila, you got yourself a delicious rum old fashioned. Oh man, there's this really great interplay between some raisiny sweetness, some roastiness, and a little bit of vanilla. There's a touch of brown sugar and cinnamon. There's this really nice note of like honey banana as well. This goes down dangerously fast. Next up on the list is technically not a rum, it's a cachaça, which is a cane juice spirit native to Brazil. And I'm gonna go with Novo Fogo Colibri. Now this is wild fermented and distilled on a pot still and then aged in a mix of American oak barrels and Amaro barrels, and it's bottled at 42% ABV. Now sipping it straight, it's pretty decent. And thanks to the Amaro wood aging, people often describe it as like a snickerdoodle cookie, and honestly, I think that's pretty spot on. But why I'm actually including this on the list is because I think it makes the perfect fall hot toddy. Now it's typically around the winter months that I drink more heavier traditional whiskey-based hot toddies, but I found that it's around this time of the year that I want a toddy that's a bit brighter and not so heavy, which is totally what this is. And again, thanks to the Amaro wood aging, this has this really nice cinnamon essence without hitting you over the head with like big notes of like big red cinnamon gum. For this specific toddy, it's basically 2 ounces of the cachaça, 3/4 ounce of Averna, which is an Amaro, and then some lemon juice, some honey, and some water, and a pinch of salt. Now from the Amburana, you get these notes of cinnamon and chestnut, but you're getting like a touch of caramel and orange zest from the Averna. Oh, seriously, this is cozy and comforting, but still bright. Perfect for the fall. Now I want to highlight some liqueurs that are rum related. These are liqueurs that I use a bunch to make cocktails this time of the year. First up is Falernum. It's a rum-based liqueur with origins in Barbados. And it's usually a mix of like sugar, lime, ginger, and clove. Now the Velvet Falernum brand will probably be the most widely available one, and it's good, but it's definitely a bit on the sweeter side, at least for my palate. So if you're looking for something that's drier and more ginger and clove forward, then I'd actually recommend Maggie's Farms Falernum. It starts off as their white rum, to which they add ginger, lime zest, toasted whole cloves, and toasted allspice. I also like it because it's a little higher in proof than the Velvet Falernum. This is 25% ABV as opposed to 11%. Now there are tons of tiki drinks that call for Falernum, but when it comes to the fall, I think the best showcase for it is another straightforward cocktail, the corn and oil. It's so easy to make. You start off with 2 dashes of bitters, 1/2 ounce of Falernum, and then 2 ounces of a nice Barbados rum. For this one, I went with RL Seal 12 year. You just add in some crushed ice, give it a good stir or swizzle, and there you go. It's kind of like a spiced rum old fashioned in a way, but with much more brightness coming from the lime. And by using the Maggie's Farms Falernum, this becomes much more ginger and clove forward, which is perfect for this time of the year. This is just a great balanced drink that works both for warmer weather and colder weather. I love drinking it during the fall, but honestly, I could drink this in the spring or the summer. Next up is Allspice Dram, which is a liqueur macerated with allspice berries. Now there are a couple different brands out there, but I prefer St. Elizabeth. Now the base on this is a pot still Jamaican rum, and it is so concentrated and packed full of this smoky flavor profile of like clove, cinnamon, and nutmeg, you know, all the spices. This instantly adds a layer of spice to whatever you put it in, and it has this really nice drying quality to it. Now a little bit of this goes a long way. Typically you're using like 1/4 ounce in any given cocktail, and I think it's probably most famously used in a navy grog, but anytime I can find a cocktail that uses more than 1/4 ounce, consider me on board. Now I think a great cocktail to showcase Allspice Dram would be a Lion's Tail. Now this is a prohibition cocktail traditionally made with bourbon, but since this is a rum channel, I subbed in some rum instead. Ooh. Oh yeah, this is basically a mix of rich demerara syrup, lime juice, 1/2 ounce of the Allspice Dram, which is actually a lot, and then 1.5 ounces of a nice rum. Ideally, you want something that's more than 40% ABV to give it some heft to compete against the strong notes of the allspice. So I like to use an aged Barbados rum, so for this one, I also went with RL Seal 12 year. Now, thanks to the lime and rum, it makes this kind of like tiki inspired, but it's ultimately crisp, smoky, and spiced, making it the perfect fall cocktail. Now, unlike the previous 2 bottlings where rum served as the base of the liqueurs, this last bottle doesn't have any rum in it. However, there is a connection. See, when you think of rum cocktails, oftentimes you think of tropical or tiki drinks, and one of the main ingredients used in those kind of drinks is pineapple juice. So how about a pineapple Amaro for the fall? This is Heirloom Pineapple Amaro. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the base spirit here is, but it is a bitter digestivo made with Queen Victoria pineapples, quassia bark from Jamaica, and other botanicals and spices. It has some delicious notes of cinnamon and vanilla on the nose, tropical fruit like savory pineapple on the palate, and like a woodsy bitterness on the finish. It's full-bodied and has just the right amount of sweetness so it's not cloying. So this tastes great sipped neat or on a big rock of ice. But if you're looking for a fall appropriate shot, then look no further than a 50-50 of 1/2 of this and then 1/2 of a flavorful Jamaican rum like Hampden Estate 8 year. Let's actually make one right now. We're gonna eyeball it here, but we're gonna go 1/2 Hampden 8. I'm running a little low. And then 1/2 of the pineapple Amaro. Whoop. Don't spill on your pants. Cheers. Ooh. That is fall distilled in a shot. Now, if doing a shot is not your thing, then we can quickly turn this into a sipping cocktail, the Trelawney 50/50. Shout out to Kate Perry from La Maison and Vellier, whose recipe this is. It's pretty easy. So you're getting yourself a nice glass. We're gonna do 2 ounces of bitters. So we're gonna do 2 ounces of our pineapple Amaro. And then you want another Hamden rum. I could use the 8-year, but I'm running a little low. So I'm actually gonna use Hamden the Younger, which is their L Rock mark. I'm basically gonna do 2 ounces of that as well. And that's it. No ice needed. Just give it a good swirl and you're in business. Oh my God. That is so good. So it has these notes of candied pineapple and ginger, and the lightest note of like smoke and clove. It's almost reminiscent of like chai spice. Honestly, this is perfect for sitting by a fire and getting lost in your thoughts. Well, there you go. Those are some of the bottles of rums and liqueurs that I've been using to make cocktails this fall season. Now, I just provided 1 suggestion per bottle, but for each of them, you can make so many different cocktails, fall flavored or otherwise. You know, I love the whole changing of seasons and weather because you almost instinctively reach for different types of cocktails depending on the time of year. And there's a whole world of rums and rum related bottles out there to create those seasonal cocktails. So I'd love to hear what you're drinking this time of the year. Do you have a go-to cocktail for the fall that you enjoy drinking? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you next time. Cheers.